Now, what we do this for, and I'm not just talking about United Spring Training, which, that's got a little bit to do with what I want to talk about, but what we do this speaking engagement, we call it a banquet or a meet and greet. Essentially what it is we want to prepare you guys for what to expect if you're new. Even the people that have been with us for a while that do understand a lot of what we do, you're still going to learn more this year, and you're going to learn more next year. A couple reasons. A, we do get a little bit better at what we do every year, and that's kind of a segue into what we expect out of you guys as baseball players, is to be better just a little bit better today than you were yesterday. A little bit better the next day, a little bit better the next day. It's called compounding, and the next thing you know, you look back a year ago and you're like, that was me back then? Holy smokes. Then you get a little bit better. Then you get a little bit better. Next thing you know, you're in college. You go back, college break, you go see your buddies that were a year behind you, and you go hit in the cage with them, or you're playing catch with them, and they're like, dude, you got so much better, and you have no idea that you did, because everybody at the college level that you were with, well, they got better too. And that's going to continue to happen in your life. And that's part of what we want to talk about, or what I want to talk about. Why United? Who is United? Why did you choose it? 50% of the reason probably is because we tried to choose you. We recruited you. We went after you. And what we're trying to accomplish through United is to give you opportunity to see what's going to happen in the future of recruiting, being able to go to college. Hopefully you guys have the dream and passion to play beyond the college level, maybe go into play professional baseball. You could play independent professional baseball. You could sign with a Major League Baseball team, play in their minor league organization, never make it to the big leagues. You could make it to the big leagues, make a lot of money, buy your family a house, buy you a nice house. Who knows? The possibilities are endless, but it's going to take a few things. It's going to take this word called commitment, and it's definitely going to take this word called passion. And it's funny, one of our coaches over here was giving me a hard time. He's like, man, during the workout today, dude, every time I saw you, you were running over here, literally running, not walking, but running, and I wasn't trying to, like, hey, guys, you see me running, you should be running too, you should be hustling it, although that does play into it, but no, I was trying to get something accomplished. And if I can get to point A to point B a little bit quicker, well, then I'm going to get to C over here to complete the job a little bit quicker, so I can take on the next challenge and the next challenge and the next challenge. That's what you guys as athletes have to do, and really us as human beings, because at some point in time, you guys are going to not be a baseball player anymore. Firsthand, I'll tell you. I got an opportunity to play 4 years of college baseball on athletic scholarship. I got to play 8 years of professional baseball. Went undrafted. Ended up, I took a tough road. I took a road that a lot of people were like, man, well, just shut it down, dude. You're not good enough. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. I wasn't trying to prove anybody wrong. I just had a dream. I wanted to play baseball for as long as my body would let me do it at the highest level that I could potentially do it. If I could make a lot of money, man, that's just an added bonus, because I was doing something I had a passion for and that I loved. I can guarantee you every baseball player that showed up tonight, not today, but tonight, that's here listening to me talk, you have a passion for it, or you wouldn't be here tonight. Because like I said, it was a long day. There's a lot of people in the hotel room right now. Maybe they just crushed some pizza, whatever, took a nap, didn't wake up from the nap yet. Or it was just, that was going to be difficult. It's a tight window, We just finished at 4 o'clock, 4:30, whatever it was, and then that's a drive, that's this, it's inconvenient. I'm going to tell you something, guys. You want to be successful at something, it's going to be inconvenient. You're going to have to prioritize some things, and that's part of what United is. But I communicate with our coaching staff. Well, I physically go out and recruit them just like I did when I was in college. Not only do I recruit the players that play for us, I also recruit coaches that coach for us. It's a big deal to me to know that I have a coach coaching the teams of the players that I recruited that shares the same passion and ideology that not only I, but our company United, the ideology behind it, it's not really travel ball, although I'm sure plenty of organizations will say, nah, we're not travel ball, we're this, we're that, we're different. Well, I'm here to tell you that we are, and we're striving to be different. Show everybody that social media and what is portrayed in, well, you got to do this to be recruited, or you got to play on this team and wear that jersey. You got to do a lot. You got to go to that tournament. You know, you got to bounce around these national tournaments or whatever. It's not real. It's social media marketing driven that's telling you this is what you have to do if you want to get to the next level, whatever that next level is. Now, it's not a complete lie. There are partial truths. You have to get in front of the right people. You have to get in front of a decision maker, somebody that has the power of the pen that can say, I like that guy, come here. You want to play for us? Here's a scholarship. Come on. You got to get in front of that guy. You can get in front of that guy on social media by posting your pull downs or whatever you're doing. That actually might get your foot in the door. It might. But it's not real. It's not real yet, because that college coach is going to say, that's interesting. That guy's got some good arm strength. That guy can really swing it, or that guy can really run. You know, you're posting a highlight reel, and there's nothing wrong with posting a highlight reel. But what it's going to come down to, let's say it's one of the guys that I know that we recruited, or that James Gamble or Austin Wilson or Malcolm Orgeron or any of our coaching staff that goes out and sees players, speaks to the player, goes and says, you know what, who's that player's parents? And some of you guys in here, this might actually be the exact way it happened, that you became part of what we're doing. But we were at a high school game to go see a guy. We saw you. We saw you. What did you do? Maybe you didn't go 4 for 4. Maybe you were just busting it on and off the field. You know, and we happen to know the coach for that team. We call him like, hey, what's going on with Johnny? You know, nobody's really, I've never heard of him. Nobody said anything. He's, oh, coach, you're going to love him. You're going to love him. Well, why? There's a lot of things you do that have nothing to do with your athletic ability that is going to make a college coach fall in love with you. Make a college coach desire to have you as a part of their program to build something that they're going to be proud of. And it's a lot of things that you're doing at practice or maybe at home. You know, it's part of you. It's not your athletic ability. And that's what we want to, that is the message we want to convey to you tonight, or I want to convey to you tonight, is that who you are is more important than your athletic ability. Now, yes, you have to have athletic ability to get it done. Plain and simple. If you're not good at baseball, pick another sport. If you're not good at sports, there's a lot of things you can be good at. Doesn't have to be sports. But you guys in here in this room, and everybody, as a matter of fact, that's part of United Baseball Organization, is good enough to be here. I was good enough to play high school baseball. I was good enough to get the opportunity to go play college baseball. I was good enough to go play professional baseball. But I know a lot of people that didn't think I was. I didn't really play with a chip on my shoulder because people didn't think I was good enough. Again, just going back to the passion I had and the love for the game. I was good enough because I knew that I was going to play Major League Baseball. That was my dream. Saw it on TV, idolized guys. That's what I'm going to do. I never made it. Not in the United States. I played Major League Baseball internationally in Mexico. But, guys, if you don't know James Gamble, he'll be up here in a minute to talk. He's got a lot of useful and powerful information to give you just about what to expect. Some things that may be a pain point of ours that we're dealing with, trying to streamline and be more successful. If we're more successful, you know what's going to happen? Doors are going to open for you. But a lot of our success hinges on your commitment. And so that's why we're careful when we try to recruit guys. United Baseball is going back to saying we're a little bit different and we're not your typical travel organization, although we fall in the category. United Baseball Organization is owned and operated by Global Scouting Bureau. Global Scouting Bureau is a professional advancement company. Moves athletes internationally on the professional side. That's how I became to know James Gamble. I went undrafted out of high school. Went undrafted out of college. Get a phone call from a guy. My name was on the draft board. It just didn't get picked. And once all that stuff goes through, it just starts going through circulation, through networking. People who knows people. Hey, this guy's available. This guy's available. Well, sure enough, I just happened to be close enough to a team that James Gamble was. I don't know if he had ownership at that time or not, but my name popped up. I was convenient. I got an opportunity. I took it. Ended up playing professional baseball for 8 years. That was by chance, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was all the things that I did leading up to that got me the opportunity. Yeah, I performed well enough to get the opportunity, but if I'd performed even better, maybe I would have gotten a bigger opportunity, and so on and so forth. But I fell in the exact spot that I needed to fall into, and I took the exact path that I needed to take to get to where I am today. I haven't played baseball professionally or even just having fun playing baseball in over 10 years. It's going to end one day. But my competitive nature, my passion, it hadn't changed. As a matter of fact, it's probably gotten worse in a good way. And when I'm out here dealing with these players, with the coaches, with our staff, anything like that, it's amazing that I don't see some of these guys for, 8 months out of a year, and then we see them and we pick back up just like we've been best friends all year, or best friends our whole life. We talk all the time, but we don't talk all the time. We talk about players, we talk about baseball, we have the same passions. And that's because we actually go out and recruit our coaches no different than how we do the players. We look for guys that have similar goals, similar passion. They want to help the players. When I went into college coaching, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I'm no longer coaching college baseball, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I just took it because I wanted to get back into baseball years after I retired from baseball, and I saw the development happening with the players and how they responded, and it made me remember, I remember when I did something like that, how it felt, how good it made me feel when I succeeded, or even when our team succeeded. And I was thinking, that's a pretty good feeling. And somehow or another, it didn't even happen to me, and I felt it. I felt that what I used to feel when I was a player, I felt it as a coach. And I imagine a lot of these coaches feel the same way. When they see these players, and it's not about, man, my program just went 30-2. They might mention that. But what's more important is I had 4 guys that signed college scholarships. I got juniors coming up that, man, colleges are interested already, and I got some guys that are really hard workers. They're going to be to help some programs. That's the majority of your high school coaches and college coaches. It's no different when they pass on a guy from college to pro ball. They are very proud of that. Ask them. Ask any of them. They don't really talk too much about their win-loss record when they got a team full of guys that just moved on to the next level, whatever it is. So we try to do a good job not only selecting our players because we want to give them an opportunity. I'm not out there looking for the next big leaguer. I'm out there looking for the guy that has passion, the guy that has enough ability to get the job done right now. He's going to get better. He's going to develop. But why is United different? Well, United was a company that was created based on the concept of advancing athletes, and it came from the professional side. Now, we can't help high school athletes the same way you help professional players. It's completely different. Everything we do on the pro side has absolutely nothing to do, or does it? Maybe it does have something to do with you guys, because maybe one day we're going to be dealing with you after college. Maybe we help you find a college spot. Then the next thing you know, 4 or 5 years later, you need an opportunity to continue playing. You still have a passion for it, and you're good enough to get it done. We might know a few people. And it's funny, just the other day, I was staying in the hotel with James, and we got up pretty early to get some things done, getting prepared for this, and he brought up one of my former college players that played for me when I was coaching college ball that we just helped find an opportunity in independent professional baseball. And some of you guys may know him. He played 3 years at Southern Miss, hit a ton of home runs, and was calling me during all this stuff. And COVID, he was there during COVID, all that kind of, that may have affected it. I watched him. I recruited him out of high school, and I watched him. He's currently playing his first year of independent professional baseball in Utah. And he wasn't actually sure that he wanted to do it. I had to talk him into it almost. It was a big jump for him. He was a little down on himself because he didn't think, well, man, if I didn't get drafted out of Southern Miss putting up the numbers, I must not be good enough. I'm very curious to find out what happens with him over the next few years. But James woke up and he's like, hey, man, your boy Sarge, he went 2 for 4 last night with 2 doubles in their second game of the season or whatever, and he's hitting in their 3-hole. Good for him. I imagine I'm going to get to hear some of that stuff or see some of that stuff, and hopefully it's from him when he calls me and says, Nick, I just got offered by the Atlanta Braves or whoever it is. Hey, I just got an opportunity to go do this. I'm going to be extremely excited as if it happened for me. That's who I am, and I think it's important for you guys to know who I am, because United is kind of who I am. I fit right into it like a glove. All of our coaches, same way. There's no different. They have a passion for sports. Global Scouting Bureau, GSB. I don't know if you guys know anything about it. We've made some videos. We've put a YouTube link out with some of the stuff explaining what we really do. If you heard a Showcase series, if you haven't played with us, maybe you haven't heard a Showcase series. If you have played with us, I know you've heard a Showcase series. We also own and operate that. It all ties in. Global Scouting Bureau, United Baseball, Showcase series, it all ties in together. We have created a model that works. It helps athletes advance. That's what we're doing. Not a baseball academy, not training guys. We have coaches that train guys. I know plenty of baseball academies and things like that, but our focus is on the individual player. And you think, oh, that's tough. You got, oh, shoot, man, just at Co-Lin today, I don't know, I think we had maybe 200 players out there, and I don't know what we had at Southwest, but I imagine we had 150, 200 players out there. That's a lot of players. How can the focus be on each individual player? Well, we recruited each individual player. We offered those guys to play. It's not like there's just a link out there floating in space that you're like, I think I'm going to try this one. Somebody got you to it. But Global Scouting Bureau, the pro side of the company, you got a little taste of it today if you were at Co-Lin. We had some of the Dominican guys that we brought in. 2 guys are going to stay all summer. These guys have a passion for sports. I've been over there multiple times seeing guys, and they wake up hungry for baseball. They get out on the field earlier than I want to be out there, and I still go out there. And they're getting after it, they're practicing, they're giving everything they have because they want to have a future in sports. They're not in the United States. There's not a lot of things they have there that's the same way as here, meaning opportunities. Their opportunities are a lot slimmer, so they got to work harder. And I hate saying that because of the country we live in. We have so many opportunities at our fingertips that we don't take advantage of, and then we complain about a lot of them. I'm no different, and we all do it. We complain about this. They got my order wrong. It's such and such. Oh, stop. So that's going to happen a lot. We're imperfect people. Our coaches are going to make mistakes. They're going to call the wrong pitch. They're going to, put the wrong batting order up there, bat Johnny in the wrong spot, and now the team lost because of it. Those things are going to happen. We're imperfect people. So are you guys. You're going to have bad games. You're going to have some good ones. And hopefully you have a lot of good ones this summer. If you have some bad ones, so what? Make sure you're having fun this summer with us, and make sure you're playing hard. I talk to all of our coaches all the time, especially the guys on the east side with Alabama, Florida teams. I talk to them all the time, especially in the summer. We're talking multiple times a day and multiple times during the weekend when the guys are playing, because he's letting me know the players he likes, what they're doing. The players that he's like, I'm not sure about this guy, I'm not that guy, or Johnny's not showing up. He's not letting us know he's not showing up. And James will touch on the missing at United baseball stuff and how that helps us help you. But Global Scouting Bureau brought over some baseball players today and for the weekend, and 2 of them are going to stay all summer. And that came to fruition because of the passion that I had, that I was not going to be told, no, you're not good enough to play professional baseball, you're not good enough. Trust me, I had a lot of people tell me that, and I wasn't accepting it. Just no was not an option. I had to continue. ¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Juhenser. Juhenser Zamora.
Yeah. ¿Qué posiciones tú jugar?
Outfield. Outfield.
Outfield.
Good.
Outfield.
Yeah.
Okay. Vamos.
Joan Sid, I'm infielder.
Infielder.
Richard Vázquez, infielder.
Wilbur Polanco, shortstop.
Jairi Mercado, infield.
Oliver Lopez, outfield.
We want to help you if you want to be helped. We want to help you. If you have a passion for it, I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of guys that we have right now in United way better than I was at that age. Way better. You're going to get better if you want to. You're going to get smarter. The more experience you have, the easier things become. And when things become easier, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to try something a little harder. And then a little harder. And a little harder until next thing you know, you're looking back at some of the accomplishments you had that you were so proud of, and you're like, man, that was so easy. That was so easy. But you've gotten so much better because of what's in here, both athletically, both as a human being, as a person. So if you're that committed player, and I don't mean committed to a college, I'm talking about your commitment to the sport, to getting better, you're likely going to have that same commitment towards everything you do in life. I don't play baseball anymore. When I was a college coach, you know what I had to do? Cut grass, coach baseball teams. Well, you better believe my grass looked better than everybody else's. I had nothing else to be really good at anymore. So I was out there making sure the grass is cut, and players are giving me a hard time. Coach, man, you're always cutting the grass. What are you putting these lines in the grass for? I'm like, dude, stop. Look how good my grass looks. And we go to another college field. They're like, Coach, they don't do what you do. That's right. Maybe they do. Maybe their grass doesn't grow the same. But point being is, guys, is the possibilities for you, if you have that commitment and that passion, is endless. One thing we're going to talk about is how we streamline communication, right? And through parents, through players, that is a huge, huge part, if not one of the most important parts. Because if I don't communicate with James and our staff members and things like that, how are we going to help you? How are we going to help you if we don't have good communication? Like I said, it's a network system. So how are we going to help you? We need you to be committed to this summer, to your teammates, to your coach, to us. If something happens where you can't make a tournament or these things, guys, we get it. Life happens. It's tough. A lot of things are tough. Take on the challenge. Take on the challenge as long as you're capable and you're able. And I'm not talking about the challenge of like today being out there super hot and you're like, I'm going to push myself a little bit more, and next thing you pass out on the field. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the challenge of, let me get a little bit better tomorrow than I was yesterday. Not just baseball. Be a better son. Treat your mom a little bit better, or your dad a little bit better. Pick up the slack at the house. Take out the trash. Do a couple things that are going to be appreciated, but they suck doing. Next thing you know, why did it suck so bad anymore? I just did it. And then it becomes a routine where you're helping, and the next thing you know, it's going to spread to helping other people or helping your teammates. And helping. Next thing you know, holy smokes, people are saying, you got to have this guy. He may not be the most talented person, but I'm telling you, everybody around him, he buzzes, he glows, not just because he's athletic, but because of who he is. And it's something that you got to start. doesn't just happen. Something you got to start, and it's not easy to do. If you're tired, I was tired. I did not want to come up here and speak tonight, to be honest with you. And James was giving me a hard time. Hey, man, you okay? Nope. I'm not okay, but I'm going to get up here and do this because I want to. Passionate about it. And as a matter of fact, as I get up here and I start talking about it, I started feeling better. That's going to be the same thing when you're picking up extra chores. Those chores weren't so hard, after all. So I hope you guys get something out of what I was talking about. And if just one person in here gets a little bit better tomorrow, I did my job.
Guys, I want to start off by thanking the ones that are here and looking at Jerry and our staff. I mean, I've been with Jerry probably about 15, 16 years. I don't know exactly. Jerry's a little bit older than I am, not too much, but he's been working in baseball for like 30 years. He was a Division I college coach. He's coached all over, from Troy to Western Kentucky to UL Monroe, Northwestern, Sam Houston, out in Bakersfield. We have a lot of experience there that at times nobody wants to take the time to get to know. I look to my right, we have some up-and-coming coaches, and I thank each one of y'all for being here. I've got a fiance in the back. This is new to me. A lot of what I do I couldn't do if she wasn't supportive and understood that I'm a little bit different. And when I say that, United is a part of me. It's an ideology. It's not a brand. Okay, what I mean by that is I've traveled all over the world because of the sport of baseball. I'm from Berwick, Louisiana, actually Bayou Vista. It's not even a city. And a guy who's 5'10" was able to make it, play collegiately, professionally, worked as a scout with the Red Sox internationally, then went to the front office with the Oakland Athletics, started a business in 1998, didn't know what I was doing. A lot of you are too young, but some of you that will. I was the guy that put a little bitty ad in the back of a newspaper from a one-bedroom apartment. That was 1998. I moved 89 people on my own that year. The first guy I went and hired was Ruben Rodriguez, who had signed Garcia Parra, Troy O'Leary, Jeff Cirillo. He was a lot older than me, and he knew a lot more than me, and I know even now I have to surround myself with people that are more talented than me so that we can be successful. In 99, we moved 213 players professionally. Once we hit 2000, it's been over 300 until we hit COVID. COVID kind of slowed the world down, but we're back above 300. May not seem like a lot, but you can take the biggest and best agencies that you can ever read on this phone that made billions of dollars. They haven't moved as many athletes as we have. Okay, our network is second to none. We've been trusted by all 30 major league teams. There is no organizations that can say that. Yes, there are some very wealthy organizations out there, but their motive is a little bit different than ours. When they were talking about Hernandez, that just signed it, is in the big leagues with the Marlins, we also just got through doing a deal with Fanatics, which I'm sure he'll sign, where he's going to get paid for his autographs. Our goal is to help athletes advance, not just the athletes, but also coaches, people that have a passion to succeed. I use the sports world as my knowledge base. I'm the nerd that was able to achieve athletically through hard work and dedication, that also started a minor league team that was Pensacola, where Nick originally signed. Then I sold it. Now it's the Blue Wahoos. I was fortunate because I ran into a guy that had a whole lot of money, was smarter than me. His name was Quint Studer. He bought the team, and he did what they are now. So I've always been really lucky. Or maybe I just work hard and I'm good. You guys will get to decide. I thank y'all because y'all did one thing that some of the players didn't do. You showed up. See, it's really tough when you guys have an expectation of us, but when I turn around and look at you, where's the expectation? It was tough. You want me to be a 4.0, but you'll be a 2.5 that could perform better. It's not acceptable. You have to go all in, 100%. I don't do the 110s and I don't do 90. All in, everything you got. Nick touched on some of it. I believe that I want you to be the best person you can be, the best son, the best boyfriend, girlfriend, best parent. And I'm really big on accountability. Again, that's my fiance. All of our fights, I hold a lot of things accountable. I'm really, really tough to live with. I set high expectations for myself. Others' opinions of me don't really matter. I'm trying to live up to my own goals and dreams. I, too, had parents. They held me accountable. Both of them have passed away. I'm very, very fortunate because they taught me how to work. I would sit here and go through a whole lot which the guys that know me know that I can. I'm going to get into some rules, but we also wrote a book. I just wrote the second version of it. It's called It's My Time. It was post-COVID recruiting. The first one made it to the top 10 in recruiting nationwide. We have the other one out there. Instead of me telling you everything, it's available because a lot of you guys probably are tired, want to go home. And for the people that aren't here, well, they can just buy the book. That's on them. They say they're committed, but they didn't show up. And everybody does have life. I totally understand. But I'm here. They're here. Okay? The ones that are here, if you go all in, my guarantee is you'll get opportunities for the next level. Even if you have to call me on my phone, I will drive you in my car until we find a place for you. Period. I've been doing this 25 years. I have enough favors in my pocket that I don't need to travel. But I will, and I'm not going to use a favor because you will earn it. But I expect you to go all in. We have little rules that we bring out, like, guys, missing at United Baseball. I'm sure y'all have seen the emails. So is it frustrating for me whenever we have 2 kids from one team that show up, but only one? You're talking about a 14-man roster. One person on that roster sending an email. That's not the kid. That's the parents. I'll look at you guys. I'm going to hold you accountable too. I don't care if you paid us. You paid us to hold you accountable, to advance your son, to develop him, and hopefully give him the opportunity for a future. Yep, this ain't Burger King. It ain't your way, right away. It took me 25 years. We do well as a company, and we're growing. It's through hard work. These guys all work hard. So I expect that. If you get mad at me, that's fine. I did not take politically correctness in college, and I have a few degrees. So I'm not going to change my language. I'll be polite and respectful, but I'm not going to change it. Don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, if you're a billionaire, you're poor. Doesn't matter. You're going to work hard. We all have 1440, 24 hours in a day. How you use it. It will take sacrifice. It will take commitment. It won't always be fun. A couple of little stories. How do you succeed? When I got left off a travel roster, did I cry about it? Did I call my dad? Nope. We didn't have cell phones. Probably would have. But the reality is, I was really, really embarrassed. Embarrassed enough that my teammates left and I stayed at home. So I didn't sleep. I got up and I worked harder. I wanted never for that to happen again. But I didn't just work harder physically. I started going in the dugout calling pitches against the opposing team. Happened to be LSU. We put up a lot of runs. My coach asked if I knew the signals. I said, of course I do. When we scored a lot of runs, I noticed the next game I traveled. Not because of how talented I was as a pitcher, because I used something from my neck up. Then all of a sudden we had a big lead. And back then it was Mike Bollinger. He gave me the ball. Once I pitched, I didn't need to call pitches anymore. I just needed that opportunity. But I had to use from the neck up. What I see in today's world is, hey man, if a coach doesn't play, I'm just going to go somewhere else. In fact, they just changed the NCAA rules that you can transfer unlimited times without sit-out. Sounds good. Players are in control. But I'm going to openly tell you, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's where you plant your feet, pour some water, fertilizer, get after it, and become the best you can be. The reason we do our uniform distribution the way we do, people can get mad. I turn around and I look at a player. Yes, Mom, you might have said medium. And I look at a guy that's my size or bigger. There was a kid, 6'3", about 195, that told me medium. I'm sorry, that's not medium. This is an extra large. I'm 5'10", 185. If I'm going to put on an XL, I'm not going to put him in to try to make him something he's not. I don't care about the name brands on him, because I can put on Nike, I can put on Puma, I can put on Under Armour or Marucci. It does not make me run faster, throw harder. That's a lie, guys. Okay? The bat, I know you spend a lot of money. That bat will not make you hit. You must become a hitter. Okay? If you can hit, you can hit. Whether I put wood in your hand, aluminum in your hand, BESR, BB Core, they know all the initials that I don't even know. That glove didn't make the error. You did. It's not what you're going to do in front of us, it's what you're going to do when no one's watching. It's whenever you go home on Tuesday. Your mom leaves you at home because you're not in school anymore. Do you go outside and throw a tennis ball against your house and work on your hands? Or do you Snapchat everybody? Okay, are you Instagramming? I do bounce around a lot because when I touch on a subject, like I just said, Snapchat and Instagram, you're going to notice that for us, we don't do a lot of social media. Now, a lot of our company wants to. I'm adamantly opposed to social media. I love the internet. I love education. I do not like social media. In fact, with our coaches, we start pushing you guys to an app called Events simply because I don't like group text. I don't like group chat. I don't like social things because everybody in the same room has the same power, but they could be using it the wrong way. For example, Austin, you might have to help me on how many years ago, but we had a kid that went out to a gun range, took a gun, turned it sideways, pulled the trigger on video, then sent it out in a group text that if the team didn't play better, he was going to F them up. Well, I'm not in these group texts, but every parent then contacted me. I totally understand why. I not only had to call the grandparents, because the parents weren't involved, the grandparents to remove them from the team. But then I got off the phone and I thought, oh boy, I'm going to end up on Fox News or CNN. I have to call them back and tell them they've got 48 hours to seek help, or I'm calling law enforcement. And I don't know what the right thing is to do. Because he probably was joking, but we can't joke like that. I'm going to openly tell you, I don't care if you're gay, straight, black, white, Jewish, Catholic, American, Dominican. Doesn't matter to me. I care what's in your heart. I care about that passion that Nick said, because that's my number one thing. At no point do I call up, and I have a lot of friends that are coaches, I don't call Bobby Borbier at Southeastern and say, hey, who have you already committed? Can I get him in our program so I look good? But if we do our job, each and every one of you will probably get called by other organizations saying, come on over to us, we're better. The reason they're calling you is now you're making a name for yourself. They are looking out for them. I no longer am going to play. I don't need to win. I need to make sure that we win. Malcolm, you might know the number. How many players last year did we move on just from the summer? It was like 63, 67, somewhere in there. 67 players. You know how many available players we had to move on that were graduating or available? 67. Okay? I'm going to openly tell you, you may not go to LSU, UL, or Tulane, or Southern Miss, or University of Florida. You're going to have options. If you go to those schools, you're going to have the athletic ability, academic ability, and financial ability to play at those schools. Don't hold me accountable for the level that you could play at. Sometimes you're going to have to start at the bottom to get to the top. But the ones that are here, you will have options. There will be opportunities. What you make of them is up to you. Now, whenever I talk to parents, they'll tell me, my coach didn't like me. Let me go ahead and give you a head start to the next program you go to. That coach writes the lineup. It's your job as a player to make him like you. It's not his job to like you. You might want to consider finding out what he likes and becoming that. Some parents will go home and think that's kissing up. I say it's using your head. That's how you get promoted in the work world as well. I didn't tell you to do anything that's unethical. Find out his expectation and become that. That's why a lot of programs, when you go to college, they bring the athletes, say, sit in the front. We want you to focus. We want you to understand. Learn the coach's expectation rather than say, oh, the coach doesn't like me, that's why I don't play. I hear parents that will come in and they will tell me, yes, it's the high school coach, but that parent did not go to every practice to see that their kid was on their cell phone. Maybe the coach had a rule, no cell phone. Or I hear the word, and some of my coaches can vouch for it, oh, that coach is abusive. Guys, there is not a coach alive today that could stand near an Emmerich Jagno that coached both Malcolm and myself in different years, where we would run 3 miles every day. The first word that he used was God. The following wasn't anything religious, okay? And I'm being honest, we didn't eat lunch because we didn't want to vomit. Our whole team dropped weight. We've got some players. One of my ex-teammates has a son that plays with us. If he was here, he would know exactly what I'm talking about, because you may run 3 miles the day before you pitch, but he would say we needed to do 3 miles under 20 minutes. Well, that's pretty tough to do, and we had guys that were 6'5", 240 pounds. If you didn't finish it, he would say we're going to do it again. See, I'm a logic guy. If we don't do it the first time, I already know this ain't happening. We're not going to make it. That would have been closer to abuse, but what it did, and I've seen Emmerich Jagno multiple times, is that he's one of my favorite coaches. He taught me everything I never wanted to be, and he took me to a place that I could have never gotten to without going through him. He pushed me to a level because of my passion. I would not quit. I dropped to 153 pounds. I could run 6-minute miles. If I went out, God forbid I tell you all the truth, that when I was in college, I did go out and do things that I'm probably ashamed of. And your kids will too, so did y'all. But I could jog home because I was very proud of the hard work that we put in. So I know I bounce, but I'm going to get on to some more subjects. The whole missing at United Baseball is really important. You're probably going to see through the Showcase Series app, you'll probably get a message. Some of the teams will probably be combined and game times changed. If they didn't download the app, which emails were sent, I have a tracking device on all the emails so we can see that you read them or opened them. Then I'm telling you, we're going to send out an alert. Some people are going to be very mad at us when we make that change. Not you guys, you're here. We're going to do it after, because when I can open up a little file, that's why we have Missing at United Baseball. When you decide not to come, it notifies us. We put it on a sheet that all of our coaches are going to have access to. So when your son, let's say he was a pitcher, we're going to then replace that pitcher with another pitcher so that we don't have to put a larger responsibility on the pitchers. We're not out there, yes, we want to compete. But when our coaches get too focused on winning as if it's a banner or a trophy, then we're going to have conversations. Our win is when they say, at college, now batting number 27 in your son's name, or now pitching, then we've won. So I don't need somebody to throw 100 pitches to show me he's a bulldog. I've been scouting for over 25 years, and if you do the math, I've moved over 6,000 professional athletes. I could go on and on. But forget about them, let's focus on you. On you. You go all in, you buy in, we will succeed with you. Nick mentioned some other things. You may be the guy, one of the guys that sat out in this audience a few years ago. Got a phone call today. He's going to go to the Angels workout. He may go in the draft, but they're seeking advice on the next level. He's going to be drafted. A year before that, we had a guy that came out of University of Tampa. He had a brother that played for us. He's now in college, but Hayden Erb's in AA. This happens all the time. But they sat where you sit, hoping for the same hopes, dreaming for the same dreams. What separated them is an action plan. They didn't just talk, they did. Okay, they made the grades. They continued to improve athletically. Hayden Erb's softest pitch so far this year is like 96.3. If you go to Baseball Savant, he did not throw 96.3 when he played for us. That means he got better. And you can too. Each and every athlete has that opportunity. I'm not ashamed now to tell you that whenever I went from high school to college and college into independent baseball, my father never saw me play one game. Because for him, he had different dreams and aspirations. There was a period of time where I'm going to say that I probably didn't like my father, maybe even used bigger words, because it was something in my heart that he couldn't see, and he wanted me to be successful. Right? And a lot of you parents, you want to see your son successful. My dad, his father passed when he was 5 years old. He worked his whole life. How could he know the business of baseball? I'm very confident that today my father would be very proud, because I've been in business for 25 years. We own 4 companies. One of them works in 23 countries, and we're growing. We are a network. That's what we do. One of the things that I'm going to tell each and every player is the number one goal that you should have is always making your coach like you or impress him. Every coach I've ever met likes to talk about his favorite player. Not always the best player, but his favorite player. Become that. They will talk about you. All of the conversations I have with college coaches, and they even happen today, they're not on Snapchat, they're not on Instagram. But I'm sure you can go on Instagram and tell me all about recruiting. You just don't know what you're talking about. And Facebook. You don't know what you're talking about. I can ask you about the Rule 5 draft, you won't know. I can ask you about the transfers, the portal, when's it open, when's it closed, how long is it open, what's the necessary GPA, you won't know. You can keep going, look it up. That's what we're here for. My job is to know. My job is to steer you in the right direction. The one thing that I can say, if you're a senior and you're a 24 graduate, again, that's Malcolm Ogeron. He spearheads our advancement from the seniors. We've sent it out. We'll send it out again. You're going to have to get in touch with him. There's a lot of players that have this idea that a coach would just call him and call him and call him and call him. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you're going to have to call him back. You're going to have to build a relationship, just like a male-female, male-male, any type of relationship you have. Once a coach calls you and introduces himself or says he has interest, it's also your job as an athlete to learn about them. That's Daniel Ballard. I have to learn about him and know that he was a really good high school coach this year. They had really good players. But I had to learn about him, about his wife, about the fact that sometimes he doesn't wake up when the alarm goes off, and that it's consolation games, not constellation. I'm picking on him. He'll get mad at me later. But I learn about each and every one of them. Kyle Sedetol, is it public that you took the other job, or did I just throw that out there? Okay, it's public now. I knew that he was taking a different job, transferring high schools. I get to know all of the coaches intimately. Some of them are new to us that have played with us, like Moose over there. He's been a player that played in our organization. He used to always get hurt. Okay, now he's playing at the next level, and our goal is for him to give back some experience, and maybe some of the kids don't make the same mistakes that he made. And Nick was right. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make you mad. So we ask you guys to have a little bit of respect. It's tough when you get really, really mad in the heat of the moment. Like if your son was, well, he's warming up in the bullpen, and then all of a sudden he didn't pitch that game because the team either got mercy ruled or mercy ruled, and you're so mad. Instead of going up to him, let's let it calm down. On Monday, call me. We'll talk. If he's wrong, we'll talk. We'll sort it out. We'll make things right. But I'm also very competitive, so when you call me on Saturday and we're overseeing 28 teams and about 5,000 players playing in tournaments, and when you drop that bad word, I know them all in multiple languages. Just like the first words that the Dominican kids are going to learn are probably going to be all of our profane words. Okay? And your children that are going to be around them, they're going to learn all of the profane words in Spanish. That's just what we do as athletes. We teach everybody the worst of things. No, Nick was right with the United ideology. That's why I said it's not a brand. I've been all over the world, and see, I noticed that race, religion, sexuality divides people. But sports unites them. That's how we decided to be united. When we started this, I went in, me and Jerry Martinez had 2 teams. And I said, I got to turn it into a business, not to make money. Each team approximately makes us $2,500, just so you'll know. I can show you all the math. Makes $2,500 a team after we pay everything out. So we have 28 teams. You can get your calculator figured out. We pay more than that in salaries just to like 2 people. And we're a full-time company. We own a tournament company. Everybody asks, I try to educate. When you go into a field, what you guys don't know is the cost of baseball. Why are prices going up? I'll use UNO. They can get mad at me. To step on UNO's field on a Friday, it costs $2,000, whether you play 1 game or 5 games. That's $2,000 to step on it. It'll be another $2,000 on Saturday and another $2,000 on Sunday. Well, we haven't paid for an umpire yet, or a gate person, or insurance, or all of these things go into it. So when the prices go up on the tournaments, guess what happens? The teams didn't raise their prices. It ends up getting pushed to the parents. Okay, so when you get mad, understand there's some people hiding behind you'll never get to fuss at. We don't mind. Just come and talk. I'll educate you on the business. I don't mind. When parents call me and tell me how much better, that we're crazy and they're better, I say, okay, start your business. I'm all for it. Start a team. Grow it by 20% each year for the next 8 to 10 years. We did. Oh, and every year we did it, we got better at moving athletes. And I know one thing, your kids, even though they may dream of playing for Florida State, Florida, LSU, Tulane, what have you, when your son commits and he goes to Baton Rouge Community College, Nunez Community College, Coastal South, I'm willing to bet you love your son. And you will wear the color that he plays in. Okay? So my thing is, my parents did not try to get rid of me because I'm not 6'4", left-handed and through 94. They loved me. Each and every day I was their first-round draft choice. Okay? So as a company, I don't go out there and saying, that guy runs really fast, I want him to make me look good. No, I want all the guys that are here right now that are going to give 100%. And I want to serve them. And for the people that aren't here, hopefully they'll watch a little bit of this, they need to kick up their commitment level and their sacrifice level because, yes, it was hot today, but they were hot too. Okay, and all the uniforms you got, lots of people spent time not just ordering them, packaging together, looking at the phantom sizes that sometimes you guys send in when the kid's 6'3", 225, and they put medium. I don't know who's putting that on there, but it is happening. We also look at kids and we try to set a goal saying, okay, they're thin. Ask them. I told them today, you're going to have to eat. You got to put on size. I'm sorry if I hurt your kid's feelings. I'm being honest with them. When they called me husky when I was young, that meant you're a little fat kid. All right? That's what it meant. We understand it, but I respect it more if you'll be honest with me. So when I'm around, I'm going to be that guy. My nephew, which went to junior college, now he's at Loyola, ask him. He dropped 40 pounds. I told him he was fat. It was after COVID. My sister got mad. She'll probably watch this and still get mad. I used those exact words. I said, you're fat. Okay, but that was true. If I made it more politically correct, it did not sting, which didn't lead him to drop the 40 pounds. So I helped him. I just had to do it the only way I know how. Most of you guys, if you have younger players, they ask, what's the number one thing I can do to help my son play at the next level? Make him work. Instead of coming to me telling me my prices are high, I never asked any parent to pay for it. Not one of y'all. But you all want to give your kids more than you had when you grew up. I know. The greatest gift I had is my dad, when I was 13, made me cut grass. Okay? And after I came home, he had had a heart attack when I was young. Following day, he got me another yard. I went to my mom, just like your kids will, and I said, it's child labor. And she said, listen to your dad, son. So for about a week, every day I'd come home, I cut grass, I got $20. That's what they gave me. My dad would put his hand out, and I thought, this is a joke. Now, I'm working to support my family. I didn't know. And about 2 weeks later, my dad said, get in the truck, boy, because that's how he talked to me. And when I got in the truck, we went down the street to a little house. It was a bank. I was 13. I didn't know what that was. He took out a wad of cash. It was mine. He gave it to him. They gave me a little book. It was Tesh Federal back then. Now it's changed names. It's First Horizon. I still have the same checking account that I started off with, but I learned how to make money. So when I did that, I decided I'm going to Oklahoma State's baseball camp. I didn't ask permission. I had made money. So I went to go see Gary Ward. I learned that hitting is the sequential unlocking of body parts to maximize bat speed at the point of contact. You know why I know that? Because I paid for it and I learned. Okay. When I wanted the new TPX aircraft aluminum bat that hit the ball 20% further, oh yeah, they used to market it like that. I went and bought it. When I became driving age at 15, I bought an Isuzu pickup. It was fast, 0 to 60 in about 20 minutes. Bought it for $1,500, but I bought it. And then I hired my friends for $5 an hour because back then $4.35 was minimum wage. I hired my friends. They needed spending money. I bought more lawnmowers. I went to Century 21 and told them that if they keep the grass up, they'd have a better chance at selling their house. I was making that part up, but it worked because they gave me a lot of yards. The only problem was when my friends wouldn't show up, my dad made me keep my commitments. So I might cut grass at 7 in the morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, take a lunch break, 1, 2, 3, run to baseball practice because we could drive at 15. And when I'd get there, my skin was black, I was tired, and I'd look at a guy 6'3", 225, hanging on the fence saying, Mom, get me a Gatorade. And inside of me, I was thinking, he's saying it's hot, I'm going to whoop him. He don't know what hot is. See, that work ethic created something inside of me. So I've got some scars. I used to use my hands the wrong way at times. Because if you were big and you were soft, I was going to take your friends, maybe your girlfriend. I was going to make sure they knew who I was because I was going to work hard, and each and every day I was going to fight for what I believed in. I know that's why I was able to play collegiately and then professionally. I'm 5'10". I used to not be 6'3". So I look at every kid, and most of them are going to be bigger than me when they're 16 and 17. But all I hear is excuses. And then I hear parents taking up for them. Well, you're the problem, parents. I'm not the one that went on, and I don't do social media, but I know that some of the coaches have told me about it, where they had a guy that got up on stage and did a speech, and he said that, what was it, Jerry? Tough times create tough men. Okay, how's the rest of it go? And then tough men create easier times. Easier times create soft men. Soft men create tough times. So parents, part of my message is not just for the kids, it's for y'all. I always start my conversations with your sons as, how do you do in school? Always. They almost always say good or pretty good. I then follow up with what is good. And they tell me all A's and 1 B. Okay, what's your B in? It's in math. All right. Well, let me ask you a question. If you worked a little bit harder, just being honest, be honest with me. If you worked a little harder, could you bring that B to an A? Not a little bit of the time, 100% of the time, they say yes. And I go, okay. See, what happens is they find your threshold of acceptance. Once they find it, it's locked in. You set the bar. Now, if that kid would have told me I make all C's, but I give 100%, I would have given him a hug. But see, they find your threshold. What feels good on Monday to say my son's on the honor roll, what if he should be on the dean's list? The only way we can teach is to expect 100% out of that kid and out of ourselves, but it's really hard. And if y'all want to, before y'all leave, go ask that woman. I'm very, very hard to deal with. She's got 2 kids. I deal with them. It's the same way every time. My sisters at times, I know they get frustrated. I'm really, really big on accountability. Y'all can all get my phone number. I am hard to reach, but I'm great at calling back. And my commitment is, if your son goes all in, I will drive him at my cost, and I will not stop until we find a place for him to play. But he's got to go all in. If he doesn't, don't come to me, don't call me. That's on him. Your son is the CEO of his future. Y'all are CFOs. That's what you are. So I appreciate that y'all picked up the tab for your son. But again, I don't want the complaint that it cost a lot, because each one of those kids can cut grass. I also saved aluminum cans. I know what humility feels like. I've stayed in the worst of worst hotels, and I've stayed in the nicest of nice. Slept in both. Now I can afford more, yes. but I don't always give more. I make people earn. I believe in earning. That's the only way to get where you want to go. You have to go through failure to succeed. Every successful person I've been around has been through failure. See, we didn't talk about, I'm going to jump to the 12-year of minor league baseball that he played before he got called to the big leagues. For 12 years, he's played minor league baseball. You know how many American guys play 3 years and if they get released, they just shut it down? It's common. 12 years he's grinding it out. Now he made it. Okay, now he's getting a card deal. I hope he spends the next 5 years there and makes a ton of money and supports not only his family, but his extended family, because he earned it. But for everybody who's putting their hand out expecting it, without putting the work in, you're in the wrong place. Okay, we're going to make mistakes. I'm openly telling you, we're probably going to send out an alert tonight because some of the things we ask that parents and kids do, I'm telling you, I was there in registration, they did not. Not all of them. Some of them who did, I thank you. That's outstanding. The little things we ask, like missing at United Baseball, allows us to help protect your son and others. We have injury at United Baseball because we want to know. At times, you might have a kid that's hurt, and we may know the best orthopedic, like James Andrews, and have his cell phone number. I'm just saying. Okay? Major League Baseball says he's the best. We may know him. We might be able to help you. That's what we're here for. And if I don't know somebody, I know somebody who does. That's because the Global Scouting Bureau owns United Baseball. We are a network worldwide. I don't have to know somebody. I just have to know somebody who does. It's not the 7 degrees now. We're probably at 2 or 3 degrees from anywhere you want to go. I think it's Jair Morales here. Yeah, see, Jair used to coach with us. He may not like this. I've seen him all over ESPN Latino doing, reports. I didn't even know he did that when he worked with us. He was coaching. Then he was just with the Toronto Blue Jays over in the Dominican. And this is why I believe in faith. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. You can believe in who you want to, but we got all of the visas except one. And it was the coach that was going to be staying, taking care of the Latin players. And see, I went out, I got that guy a car to drive these Latin players around for this summer. We want to integrate them. We want your sons to learn from them and them to learn from your sons. And all of a sudden, the coach, who was going to be the interpreter and the person taking care of them, didn't get his visa. That's a problem. About 3 days later, my phone rings. It's Jair. What's the chances of that? See, I don't believe in coincidence. I think it's happening because, we're being rewarded for the hard work that we do. What I believe in is I'm being rewarded because I'm trying my best to live right. I still fall short every single day, guys. Every day. Again, y'all can talk to my fiance. She'll point out all the things I do wrong. But every day I fail, but I know that my goal, my passion, is advancing your son. Because, see, I don't have kids of my own. I'm 52. That dream's gone, right? Maybe it's not, but it's gone. But so all of your kids, they're like my son. And I'm going to treat them that way. And the difference is they don't have to like me, and that's okay. I'm going to hold them accountable. I'm asking for dads at times, don't get mad at me. I'm going to do what you feel in your heart. Mom, you feel in your heart, but maybe you won't do it because you're afraid that they may not like you. And it's a whole different world. I get it. I've never been a parent of my own. But I know it works from personal family experience. My oldest nephew that's now in the work world, married, getting ready to have his first kid, when he was probably 15, 16 years old, I got a phone call from my sister that said he wasn't living right. Again, she's probably going to get mad, but they found one of these little clips that you put on a cigarette or some other smoking material. They found it didn't know how to handle things, and his grades weren't really good. And Jerry knows the story because I said, okay, we can come stay with me in the summer. I'll take care of it. And they laughed. I went, no. But I got rules. Number one, he can't call you and you can't come get him. That's it. That's the rules. His grades will go up. And I'll take care of paying for a trainer. I'll pay for his baseball. But see, he's going to work for me. He's going to read a book every week. Uh-oh. That's a problem. See, I said they got books out there. Y'all want to learn about recruiting? I have one out there. We have another one that Nick and I spent a year working on, Rich Athlete, Poor Athlete, telling real stories. Not just trying to plug it, but everything that I could talk about for weeks that I'm going to try to wrap it up, it's out there. But so my nephew, I go pick him up, and he was probably 6'1", 6'2" at the time. He was a big kid. He ended up playing 4 years of college baseball. He played at UNO. He was a weekend starter, good athlete. But and it was on academic and athletic scholarship. But when I got him, he was a sub 2.5 student. I picked him up, and when I put him in my truck, he put on headphones as I was starting to talk to him. So I pulled right off the interstate, and by the time I got out my car to go around, his face turned white. At that point, I knew, thank goodness, because he could probably whoop me, but he doesn't know that. And I just explained some rules. We drove up to my house. He walked down the hall. I told him the rules, which were, I like the grass this height. That's what I told him. I said, I get your phone at 9 o'clock. Here's the first book you're going to read. We leave tomorrow morning at 7. He went down the hall, turned into the room. He came back out and said, Uncle James, there's no bed in here. And I said, I know, we start at the bottom. You got to earn it. You see, your mom had bought you a Jeep because she loves you. You ain't earned it. We're going to earn in this household. Well, he wasn't real happy, as you can imagine, but I had the phone. So he goes to bed on the floor. I allowed him to have a pillow and a blanket. And the next morning, because he was 16 years old, I told him we were leaving at 7. He got up at about 6:58. And so I said, all right, let's roll. And he goes, well, I'm hungry. I went, well, we leave at 7. You're going to be hungry all day. It's the way it's going to be. I told you we're leaving. So there were some life things we had to do. I also, if I asked him questions about the book, by the way, Darren Hardy wrote it. It was called The Compound Effect. I'm a huge believer. If he couldn't answer the questions, we turned the car around. He went back home. He was not doing training. He was not doing baseball. That was life. So he had to read the book, reading, and then comprehension. I didn't work on his math. I didn't work on science. I worked on reading and comprehension. If he didn't know it, we turned around, went back home. He had to read it again. Well, on about day 3, I called him up and said, hey, didn't I tell you I like the grass at a certain height? And he said, you did. And I went, well, it don't cut itself. All right. And he goes, you got a yard guy? I said, yeah, he's taking off this whole summer. It's yours. Now, what he didn't know is every time he cut it, I was taking money, putting it aside, because I was going to teach him something else a little bit later on. Well, it took about 3 or 4 weeks before he really took on doing everything, getting a bed moved into his room, learning that the dishes don't wash themselves, learning how to do his laundry. Where he came to me and he said, hey, I finished the book. Can I give it to my dad? And I said, I don't do parents, okay? Because most of us as young men, we don't read books. And I'm a huge believer, not just in baseball, but in life. Small, smart choices done repeatedly over time equal drastic results. I just gave you the whole summary of The Compound Effect. Again, it's Darren Hardy, great book. If you read any of the books that we've written, I always put that in there because that's the way to success. Small, smart choices done repeatedly over time equal drastic results. But it'll work against you too. You know, lazy, bad choices consistently lead you to failure. You're going to get fat. You're going to get lazy. You're going to get sickly. This is all going to happen. I'm not picking on anybody. It's going to happen. It's true. In anything you do in life. He ends up going on to college and getting academic and athletic scholarships. But he learned a routine. The number one thing that I think we as coaches and staff want to teach your son is how he can have his own routine. We're going to give. Each coach may teach a little something different. We're going to give a routine. Your son's job is to take from everybody. He may not connect with me or Jerry. He might connect with Moose or Braden. Okay? When he collects that information and he can start doing it consistently, he'll find things that are working and things that are not. That's okay. If it's not working, get rid of it. If it is working, hold on to it. Improve that routine and get a little bit better, like Nick said, each and every day for as long as you play this game. There is no stopping point where you think I've made it. I know when y'all go on Instagram and Facebook and somebody puts out a table with a cloth and they say, my son is committed, that you think they made it. They really just got an invitation to the starting line. So I don't focus on that. I focus on the kids preparing themselves not only to get to college, but to play in college, to have the tools to compete for as long as they play this game. And then they will decide when they give up this dream. They will work as hard as they can. Because a person like me, a person like Nick, and I can keep going through it. Kyle played, Malcolm played. I'm talking about professional guys here. We all had a dream, we worked hard, and when we got out, it was on our terms. Right? Maybe we weren't good enough. You know, I'm not as good as Jeter, but my mom still thought I was the number 1 draft choice. It's okay. Okay? Derek Jeter didn't help 6,000 people play professionally. I did. Maybe I'm better at something else too. It's okay. We all have different gifts. Each one of your kids has a gift. For me, I want to nurture that and mature it through the game of baseball. Okay, we're going to screw up for you. But we're also going to make sure that if your son goes all in, we will succeed for you. I don't care if they go 0-3 or 3-1 or 1-2. Yes, the coaches are going to compete. But at the top of the food chain, if you get mad at me. I'm the one that's calling the coach saying, hey, once he gets to about 60 pitches, get him out. It's another kid's turn. Let's go. So when a parent calls me and says, oh, they blew the game, they took out that guy we could have won. Yeah, I don't care. I want to prepare each and every one of them. And last time I checked, when you win a World Series, you still lose about 60 games. So when you're the best, you got to learn how to lose 60 times. That's a lot, guys. So we kind of focus on making sure your son knows how to get back up, because it's not just going to happen in baseball. You're gonna lose things in life. So like when I lost my father, I didn't turn to drugs and alcohol. When I held my mother and she died in my arms, I didn't turn to drugs and alcohol. I learned how to get back up. I learned all of that from the game of baseball, and I was blessed to play for a guy named Tony Robichaux. Everybody thought he was a great pitching coach. I'm going to openly tell you, I don't ever remember him teaching me anything about pitching, but he taught me how to be a man. He held me accountable. And I pulled that from him, and I use it each and every day, and I'm very thankful for that. So what I'm going to end with is that, guys, when we put stuff out there, we might send repetitive emails. We might be trying to use apps that you're not comfortable with yet. It's going to take us years, because it went from 2 years ago trying to use it where they had all kind of glitches, and maybe 1 out of 20 teams used it. And last year we probably had 5 out of 24, 25 teams. This year we'll probably get 8 or 9, because even our coaches will say, well, yeah, this year's really easy. I joke around at my house and I say there's always 2 roads, an easy and a hard road. Which one do you think you should pick? I know the answer. I'm going to leave the rest for your son to figure out. Okay, I appreciate it, because tonight y'all took the hard road, and I'm thankful for that, to my staff, to all of you parents, for supporting your kids, for you young men deciding that you want to get better. And maybe you have a dream, and that's okay. I support the dream. Even if nobody else believes in it, I do, because I believed in my dream, and I was able to achieve through hard work and dedication. So I'm going to end it with that, guys. If y'all have any questions, I'm going to stick around. Any 24s, y'all need to get to know Malcolm Ogeron. We're going to send out emails about that. If you go all in, we will guarantee. Okay, or you can call me and hold me accountable personally. It's none of their fault. It's me. I'm going to drive them around myself. We will get options. Other than that, I thank y'all for your time. Keep an eye on your app tonight, the Showcase Series app, because we're probably going to make a couple of schedule adjustments, probably with the 16U teams. And just know that at the spring training, we will have a coach behind the mound. It's loosey-goosey. This is not trying to win. It's trying to knock some rust off, because if you were a younger player, let's say JV, you haven't played a game since April. You haven't faced live pitching. So we don't want to get you out in front of colleges and put a lot of pressure on you when you haven't seen live pitching in a month. For the older players, except for Daniel Ballard's group that finished like 3 days ago, even the state championship in Louisiana was like May 10th to the 12th. So unless you were those few kids that were on that team, it's been weeks since you've seen live pitching, and baseball is a game of consistency. Our goal is to get you some reps, meet your teammates, knock some of the rust off. Parents, meet one another, talk a little bit. Let's get excited, and then go out there next weekend and really start getting after it. And it'll be a grind. It's going to rain some. It's going to, you're going to have bad umpires. I know I get that every year. We're going to have some umpires that do some bad things. Coach is going to play guys in the wrong position. I guarantee it. But again, if your son will focus on what he needs to do each and every day to get a little bit better, we're going to succeed as a group, and for your son and with your son. And then what I'm hopeful of is, as he moves on to college, you guys don't forget about us, because guess what? If he has dreams after that, we're still that group. You don't grow out of us. Hayden Erb, we still deal with him every day. Mitchell Sanford, that was the kid I was talking about today. He'll get drafted this year. He was the all-conference hitter of the year at UNO. He originally committed to LSU out of high school. Life happens. He's at UNO now. Okay, it's not always going to be the name on the front of the jersey that matters. It was a UNO. It doesn't matter to me. Mitchell Sanford sat right where you're sitting. Right where you're sitting. Okay? But he did the work. So now it's time for y'all to go to work.